Yeah, glitch the guarantee. E&E. Put your boy shit. Glitch, nigga. Shit, I'm about to flood the streets like when the levees break. Criminal minds, my Garcia can navigate. Flowing while I'm blowing this gas. Nigga, no breaks. Niggas not seeing me ever. I mean, no dates. Fuck around and end up gone. You get in this place. E&E, the shit that I claim. You dealing with grace. Took over the game by storm like Rain's mixtape. Thankfully, I've been up to smoke like my mixtape. Counting cheddar shit, I'm about to make a grilled cheese. Niggas be faker than bad bitches with good weeds. On my John Wick shit like Keanu Reeves. Replacements won't be enough, you need the whole team. I've been a G since I could finish my ABCs. Kept it a buck so real niggas look up to me. This butcher boy shit get crazy. When it's sick of me, I'm coughing out these dope bars till they sick of me.
Can't get rid of me, still can't find a remedy. Still blowing palmers, if it comes to Hennessy. E&E, we own our shit independently. When I go out on a limb, I take extremities. I can see right through transparency. Heard they self-esteem low, insecurities. Now or never, like glitch the guarantee. What's the recipe? King L's Reflection 3. All these chapters in my life, you can turn a page. Books can't tell you my story, gotta live a day. Glitch got my back, yeah, you can copy that. Man, we control the seat, you can copy that. Leave your whole state red like Republicans. Putting fire on the track, now it's bubbling. Butcher boys, E&E, you in trouble, kid. At first 100 mil, you can double it.
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. Automatic nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Flow sick, corona, jealous in the motherfucker. Can't even take a step, that's how far I trust you. This black boy turned to shining king under pressure. West side fat jacks, I took more to measure. Shave the extras, that's business, starter fees. Street blues, what I talk, royal blood flowing free. Power on my mind, knows the gang is kind. Read between the lines, it was in my eye. If they ain't got real lines, it ain't hard to spot a counterfeit. Undefeated ultras, real Fern Gully Mountain shit. Couple hot shots, turn on the frozen margaritas. Even better when it's served with some flawless features. Next year they gotta pay for these flawless features. Flawless victories from the flaws that they teach us. Now my flow imitate how I board the plane non-stop. The little J gon' take over with my time side.
Yeah, I get right to it. My nigga, we beg your pardon. We putting niggas back in boxes. Yeah, they be harder. My flow be retarded. Sick, I need hella help. My groove came back. This must be how Stella felt. We just started kicking it like a yellow belt. We all made it to the pros. This is how LaMelo felt. You better yell out help. Here comes the double team. You catch me in the spot, then you know that the boy is clean. The Louis V look mean with the magazine. So if you try it, you get shot. No vaccine. If you was asleep before I came, then I'm the caffeine. I pull the jokers out the deck. Yeah, there ain't no laughing. In CEO fashion, we sticking to the business. Wouldn't even let a vegan knock me off my chicken. Something about the VVS when the sun is hitting. Should be flashing like the lights when you getting
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Yeah, what up? You already know it's the brother, man. Brother Barry, aka that's the fact. We about to get straight to it, man.
Here's why Audible is a great side hustle, because thanks to this free app available on the App Store, you can now create.
We get straight to it, man.
Glitch the guarantee.
With Tyson,
E&E.
this was being discussed.
2020 got me seeing so clear.
You about to get straight to it, man. Tap in and walk in.
Put your
Real
boy shit.
shit over here, man. Yeah.
North and Glitch.
This is some real stuff right here. Tap in and walk in.
This is the Major. We on the rise now, middle fingers in the sky now. Rolling haze, so we high now. How we ride now? All coops with the top down. And we listen in the top down. Trees got a whole pound. Real G's when we come round. Niggas know how it's going down. Yeah, we on the up, bitch. Real shit you should fuck with. E&E, throw it up shit.
And we stay ballin', like we sponsored by Sporting. Ball looking for the fall-in, soldiers all fall in. And we go all in, while we listening to all in, while you all talking. We smoking and coughing, till we land in the coffin, glitching, nauseous. Yeah, stepping out office, yeah, it is that bullshit. Kill him in vain, it's vanity. Yeah. Do it again, it's insanity. Yeah. Nauseous a real vigilante. Yeah. Killing these kids is plan B. Yeah. Hood is too hot with an antifreeze. Yeah. Blowing on leaves in these planted trees. Okay. Don't break the code, this family. Okay. We cutting off legs like amputees. My flow was classic, antique. Yeah. Freaking the beat is it Japanese. Yeah. Ever our cook is a masterpiece. Yeah. When money talkers, we Guapanese. Okay. Fire and flame mixed with gasoline. Pass to my sons, that's a legacy. Study the gang, now they testing me. Yeah. They dropped the ball, man, that's incomplete. Beat them so bad, make them retreat. Yeah. All of these gems you can retweet. Yeah. Play with your boys on repeat. You pay the price with your receipt. Yeah. Below $1 million, flipping it. Everyday noise get sickening. Trying to flip bills to trillions. Turning these good girls to villains. Lyrics is sick, butcher with shit. E&E clip what we represent. Put it on wax like a candlestick. We moving units and measurements. Cooking it up in the lab. We just performing experiments. Since I'm the bomb atomic, these rappers out of my element.
We on the rise now, middle fingers in the sky now. Rolling haze, so we high now. How we ride now? All coops with the top down. And we listen in the top down. Trees got a whole pound. Real G's when we come round. Niggas know how it's going down. Yeah, we on the up, bitch. Real shit you should fuck with. E&E, throw it up shit.
And we stay ballin', like we sponsored by Sporting. Ball looking for the fall-in, soldiers all fall in. And we go all in, while we listening to all in, while you all talking. We smoking and coughing, till we land in the coffin, glitching, nauseous. Yeah, stepping out office. Yeah, it is that bullshit.
Glitch, nigga, perfected my flow. If I'm on the track, then you know it's a go. It's the guarantee, nigga, and I guarantee treat the gas like the Clippers. You know I'm a choke. Only exotic when blowing the smoke. No one ahead of me. I got the recipe. Do this shit easily. This is my destiny. Sick throwing lobs. I'm dunking on everything. Niggas is sick, and I got the remedy. What I prescribe is extra artillery. Get in my zone and start going berserk. I'm feeling like Clay when he went off for 60. With the bullshit, swear to God you can miss me. Best friends with the money, Aaliyah and Missy. I come from the bottom, to try me is risky. Throwing this K like that bitch is a frisbee. Real talk, let me lock in, show these niggas what I do. Axe brain, I be standing next to players too. Front line shit, nigga, I'm the fucking truth. Top 6 ever of the 5 in my group. Niggas still bang top down in the coop. Put your boy up and we coming for the loot. E&E shit, we the best, yeah, it's true. This the guarantee, nigga, this is what I do.
Yeah. Already know what it is, man. We about to get straight to it. They want to what to do it. And we know we want to do it like we used to it. You did. Yeah. What up? It's your brethren, your brother Virgil Berry, aka Stats with the Facts. And y'all know y'all tapped into another episode of Real Talk Podcast. You did. We're gonna do this show a little early because I got some stuff I gotta do later on that just came up. So we're gonna sit up here and have the show right now. You did. What's happening, man? What's good with y'all out there? How you doing? It's a very dreary day in Columbus, Ohio. It's been raining and all of that, off and on all day. And it's a beautiful day to actually have this conversation, man. You know what I'm talking about? It be so much stuff going on, man. And we be distracted by so much. It's crazy, right? It's actually insane how much we be distracted by, especially when so much important stuff is going on right under our noses. Right? You did. Smash that like button, click on the bell, and subscribe to the page. You did. And of course, share on your social engineering, man. The question of whether or not we are alone in the universe It's a question that must be asked. It's a question that must be taken into consideration seriously. And over this weekend, while we were all being distracted with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's shenanigans, this was being discussed, right? Now, how many of y'all heard about this by any chance? You know? Let me find a better picture, man, because they ain't playing with this stuff, man. You know? You did unidentified anomalous phenomena. UAPs, UFOs, and USOs. USO stands for unidentified submerged objects, meaning things that they aren't familiar with under the water, in the sea, the oceans, right? And I just think that this subject, the very fact that the United States government is openly in the Senate, in the Congress, having this conversation, lets me know that everything that I've already knew is absolutely true. Now, this whole situation is crazy for the simple fact, like the title of the show, tell us aliens exist without telling us aliens exist, man. For one, an alien, right? Let's be clear on what an alien is, man. Right? Don't make no mistakes about it, man. You know? Right? An alien is defined as belonging to a foreign country or nation, a foreigner, especially one who is not a naturalized citizen of the country where they are living. Unfamiliar and disturbing or distasteful. Relating to or denoting beings supposedly from other worlds, extraterrestrial, of a plant or animal species introduced from another country and later naturalized. A hypothetical fictional being from another world, right? Alien from the Latin, meaning from the alias, meaning other, alienist, belonging to another. This is where this word originates from, right? So when we're talking about aliens, we gotta realize what we're actually talking about, right? Hold on a second. We gotta realize what we actually talking about, what we actually are discussing, right? Like I said, the very fact that they having open discussions about this, man, should be very telling to the people. You know, like I said, man, tell us aliens exist without telling us aliens exist. All right. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, man. Wild stuff. Wild stuff.
Oski for testifying. He is our newly appointed director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARROW, an office Congress established in the fiscal year 2022, NDAA, to investigate this very serious problem of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAP. Dr. Kozlowski comes to ARROW from the Research Directorate of the National Security Agency, where he worked in areas of optics research and crypto mathematics. He previously served at the DoD Special Communications Enterprise Office. We look forward to regular engagements between you and the committee. When unidentified anomalous phenomenon enter our airspace, we need to know about it. We need to identify it, but in order to do that, we need to reduce the stigma and credibility challenges associated with these events. Our service members, scientists, foreign partners, and the general public need to know that their reporting, research, and analysis will be taken seriously and acted on in good faith. In the spirit of transparency, AARO recently released a consolidated annual report just a few months after releasing the...
That ain't it.
Mr. Burleson, I'll recognize you for 5 minutes of questions, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Elizondo, does any branch of the United States government or defense contractors possess technology?
Sir, there's documentation that I believe was submitted for the record that was approved for release by the U.S. Pentagon, by the Department of Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review. And it states one of the reasons why my predecessor program, OSAP, was trying to collect material of unknown origin.
Was it successfully collected?
It was not. What happened is that there was an aerospace contract company that requested to divest itself of the material that was collected in the 1950s.
Right.
Unfortunately, that didn't actually occur.
So let's dive into that. That's the Bigelow Airspace, correct? So
Yes, sir.
There was a journalist, Christopher Sharp, who said that there was a transfer between Lockheed Martin, Bigelow Aerospace, and the CIA allegedly blocked this. Can you describe that?
What I can say is that it was blocked. Why it was blocked, I can only surmise. I was part of some conversations later on with some of those contract personnel where they had told all of us that is accurate. What we required was a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force in order to make that complete, and that never occurred. And so when Secretary Mattis became Secretary of Defense, I decided it would be appropriate for me to try to receive a memo from him as SecDef, as Secretary of Defense, if we could not get a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force to transfer that material.
So if that material exists today, who's in possession?
Sir, I wouldn't be able to have that conversation in an open hearing. We'd probably have to have that.
Okay,
See, this is what I'm talking about right there. These people lie to our faces. He's not at liberty to speak about this in the public area or public platform. He can only speak with him in private. Tell us aliens exist without telling us aliens exist. See, the fact that they installed our intelligence with this, oh, I'm not at liberty to speak at this, or understand what aliens actually are. We're dealing with aliens. Aliens is just people who are not from a place where they are at. Right? Now, when we get to talking about unidentified anomalous phenomena, unidentified flying objects, and unidentified submerged objects, or extraterrestrial, we want to start focusing on not just extraterrestrial, but interdimensional beings. Right? Smash that like button, click the bell, subscribe to the page. Let's go.
My question to you then is, if we were in a secure setting, if we were in a SCIF, would you be able to provide or get access to something, whether it's a visuals or material that we could put our hands on, or biologics that would convince me, that would show me that we have non-human origins?
Sir, that decision would not be mine. That would be to the gatekeeper still in the U.S. government.
And who would we, so if you were in our shoes, where would you go from here? How would you get that information? A lot of times we just don't know who to ask because we don't know where to go next. So if you were in our shoes, where would you go?
Well, I prefer to answer that question in a closed session. However, we established AARO for that very purpose. And unfortunately, under its previous leadership, it failed. So one would hope that they would have the authorities necessary to do that. Let's hope that this new iteration of leadership will be successful.
In the discussions, it's simply about material, or is there discussion about it was previously testified that there was biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again,
right? So there they go, telling us that they have recovered actual biological entities, right? And for what reason, why they don't just come out and tell us that these beings and entities exist, right? Let's go, man.
Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that simply because I don't have the expertise.
But was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes, yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures, or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time, in fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has it
separate yet related, right? And they continue to insult our intelligence. Now, these ain't just regular Joe Schmoes questioning these people, man. These are people who are working these fields, who are credible and have experience and have seen very sensitive, top secret documents and know exactly what they're talking about. Asking very direct questions. Let's go.
Anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry, could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal.
Right, so if it's nonverbal, right, so nonverbal communication means telepathic communication, right? These entities from other worlds, like I always tell y'all, man, we just now becoming aware of the rulers of darkness of this world. We have no idea about the rulers of darkness from other worlds. And a lot of these entities that we think are aliens or extraterrestrials coming from another planet, most of the entities that our governments are actually in communication with and in fact doing business with are interdimensional beings. This is why they keep showing us movies like Thor Ragnarok, showing us about the Bifrost timelines, superheroes from other dimensions and realities. Huh? Pay attention, y'all, man. It's all in the movies, man. Smash that like button. Let's go.
Meaning when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
Is the United States government and our contractors, are they pulling technology from this? Or they're reverse engineering this?
Sir, as I previously stated, and please forgive me, I am not authorized to discuss specifics about crash retrievals. I signed documentation with the U.S. government. What I can say was, after a very thorough review process by the Pentagon, what I wrote about, and that was my.
See, they get paid to lie to us, man. They have to sign non-disclosure agreements and all type of documentation to not answer any questions concerning this situation when asked, right? Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page. This is the stuff that happens while we were distracted by all the other
Okay, I
stuff.
will now recognize Mr. Burchett for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chair Lady. I request unanimous consent to enter into the record documents provided to us regarding legacy UAP programs and psychological operations. Lou Elizondo.
So ordered.
I also want to thank my buddy Jeremy Corbell for providing us documents and access to some whistleblowers. Mr. Elizondo, what is your last position with the federal government?
Sir, I was the Director of National Program Special Management Staff, managing a White House Special Access Program on behalf of the National Security Council.
How would you characterize UAPs?
An enigma, sir, and a frustration. We're talking about technologies that can outperform anything we have in our inventory. And if this was an adversarial technology, this would be an intelligence failure eclipsing that of 9/11 by an order of magnitude.
Are there classified Department of Defense materials related to UAPs that you believe could be safely disclosed to the public without compromising national security?
Yes, sir, I do. I would never, ever try to endorse providing some sort of information that could compromise what we call a blue force technology or capability. But I do believe there's a lot of information regarding this topic, and I've been very vocal about it, that should be shared not only with the public, but most importantly, with members of Congress.
Are you familiar with my friend David Grush?
Absolutely, sir. I had the privilege and honor of working with him myself several years ago at U.S. Space Force.
Last year, as you know, he testified that the U.S. has run a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Are there UAP programs operating without proper congressional oversight?
100%.
What are?
So listen to what he just said, man. So there are think tank organizations, right, that are totally operating without oversight from Congress, the Department of Defense, the military, who have actually made contact clearly with these entities in some way or another. And they're not even regulated. They're not even being monitored by certain areas of the government. They're being allowed to operate independently. Yeah, right. Or so they're telling us, as far as when it comes to their research and development into the retrieval of biological entities and actual technologies. Right? Tap in, walk with us, man.
Are they?
Unfortunately, sir, I would have to have that conversation in a closed session.
And now they gotta see, why can't they tell us? I'm gonna let y'all know why they're not being honest with us about the nature of these entities, most of them being interdimensional. He said that they don't communicate by regular means. He said not all communication is verbal. So how are these entities, these biologics, how are they able to interact, communicate with these think tank organizations, liaison with the military and intelligence communities? I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure there is no independent organization operating without the government even knowing what they're doing. They might not know the full details, but ain't no way the NSA is not aware of any interaction or communication or engagement with interdimensional beings or even extraterrestrial beings. So when they say stuff like, I can't discuss this, I have to discuss that in a private session, that lets you know right there that they're one, lying to us, and two, they're insulting our intelligence. Like I said, tell us aliens exist without telling us aliens exist. Right? Let's go, man. Smash that like button, click the bell, subscribe to the page, share on your social engineering, Jack.
I know you said that. And a lot of people are frustrated with those kind of answers, but we're asking those kind of questions, man. So you all know.
Man. We tired of y'all telling us what y'all can't tell us. We tired of y'all talking about we got to disclose this in a private setting. Nah, man. Forget all that, man. We pay taxes. We're not aware of what these entities are. What are their capabilities? We are a point of clear and present danger. We don't know the technological capabilities of these entities, their intentions. We don't know if they have weapons that are a threat to our very existence. Clearly they do. What you mean you can't tell us? I say one of the main things for Trump is full disclosure. Full disclosure. Stop talking around y'all word, giving us word salad, insulting our intelligence like we can't read between the lines, like people like myself ain't been researching and studying this stuff on top of my personal experiences. And those of many people with whom I have had very, very serious conversations with concerning this situation. Let's go.
What the heck we're up against. You also mentioned in your opening statement that the Pentagon's Public Affairs Office employs a psychological operations officer as a singular point of contact for UAP.
Every branch of the military has a psychological operations branch or a PsyOps branch. Right? Every branch of the Army, military. Right? Let me show y'all this real quick so I can give y'all confirmation of the information. This is the symbol for the PsyOps branch of the Army. Notice it says persuade, change, influence. And it is a Trojan horse with two lightning bolt swords behind it. Now, when you think of the Trojan horse, you think of the Trojan horse from the story of Troy, where by way of a fake, basically paper mache, huge horse, giant horse, right? Achilles' army was able to infiltrate the city of Troy. So when you see this symbol right here, you make that connection, connect that dot, why the Army would choose this as a symbol. Right? And these are all of the different badges of rankings in the PsyOps division. Right? I always tell y'all, if y'all remember a movie that came out not too long ago called Men Who Stare at Goats. Had George Clooney in it, Jeff Daniels, Kevin Spacey, Jeff Bridges, Ewan McGregor. Y'all remember this movie right here, Men Who Stare at Goats? This was a soft depiction of the Army's PsyOps division, what they do over there. They over there teaching soldiers, training soldiers how to develop their telekinetic capabilities. Y'all go check this movie out, man. You did. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, share on your social engineering. You did.
Related inquiries. Why the heck would they do that?
So that's a great question. I would ask the Pentagon. There's a long history here of that individual providing misleading and false information to the public through various news outlets and media outlets in order to discredit this topic. I've personally been victim to it. We have the documentation to substantiate where this information has been absolutely inaccurate, that has been provided time and time again. And it turns out that that individual was also working with former leadership of Arrow at the time as well.
And we punish them by giving them multi-million dollars more than they ask for every year. Admiral Gallaudet, you mentioned in your opening statement on an email you received from the operations officer of the Fleet Forces Command regarding unknown objects almost colliding with U.S. military planes. Did anyone respond with knowledge of what the objects were?
I received no response, sir.
Did the exercise get canceled?
The exercise did not get canceled.
Why do you think the commander of Fleet Forces operations officer never discussed the incident again?
Sir, I'm speculating because I didn't have an exchange with him, but I believed it to be part of a special access program, the information and the video, which we have known now it was. And he realized he couldn't share that openly with the recipients of the email, and therefore the email was pulled from everybody's account.
Again, tell us what happened to the email from the commander of Fleet Forces.
The day after I received it, and all the other recipients received it, which were all the subordinate commanders of U.S. Fleet Forces, so 1- and 2-star admirals, including strike group commanders, the email was wiped or deleted from our accounts.
Okay.
And then no one talked about it.
All right. Have you specifically had any experience with submersible objects?
Sir, I've no personal experience, but I've had witnesses on submarines come to me and say they've seen on sonar data.
Correct. Okay. How would you characterize those, and how do they move?
The one instance that was revealed to me was in the 80s on a nuclear-powered submarine, a ballistic missile submarine, that the object exhibited the characteristics of a Russian torpedo in terms of its speed of movement and closing rate with the submarine, and then it slowed and followed the submarine slowly in its wake for a period of minutes, and then rapidly exited the scene. And nothing that we know of and technology-wise could replicate that.
And the speed of these objects was faster than anything that we have or anybody else has that would be manned. Is that correct?
It was on the order
Underwater.
of a torpedo. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But as it exited,
well, I don't exactly know how fast a torpedo is, but I expect it does better than my old outboard Scott Atwater. So I'll take that as a yes.
Yes,
okay. Have you experienced any experience with the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, Arrow?
Yes, Congressman, as I mentioned previously, I have met with them.
Okay. You heard Mr. Elizondo describe psychological operations for those contacting the Department of Defense about UAPs. You mentioned a similar influence operation by Arrow. Why are federal agencies invested in running information operations about UAPs if they do not exist?
Yes, sir. But I'll make a statement on Arrow's behalf. They have new leadership. The office has reached out to me to meet again, and I take that as a good faith effort, and we'll see where that goes.
Thank you, Chair Lady. I've run over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wix
Game, y'all.
gives you the freedom to tell your story.
I gotta be able to people to play with this, man. They playing in our face with this stuff, man.
I will now recognize myself for 5 minutes of questioning. I have a lot of questions and I have a lot of witnesses. So I would just ask if it's yes or no to please just tell me yes or no. If it requires more than that, be very succinct, because I would like to go down the line and ask as many questions as possible. So for the Admiral this morning first, former DOD official Chris Mellon reached out to you about satellite imagery from 2017 that depicts a UAP. What were the dates in 2017 when this occurred?
I can't share with you the details, ma'am, but I can do it in a closed setting, and I can also tell you the agency that wrote a report on it.
Okay, so who has the imagery?
I can tell you that in a closed setting.
Can you describe what was depicted in the satellite imagery? Just a description.
It was a UAP, ma'am.
That's it? No other description?
The term that the analysts used, they called it the button. It was a disc-shaped object.
Okay, where was it?
I can't tell you that, ma'am.
Okay.
He can't tell her.
Right. Okay, Miss.
He can't tell her that. Like, look at the blatant disrespect of these people, man. These people at NASA, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. Remember when I told y'all about the interplanetary corporate conglomerate? My whole time watching this, right? My whole time watching this, I was saying to myself, why is none of these people asking about the interplanetary corporate conglomerate? Nobody's talking about this place, man, this organization. Right? I've been telling y'all about this organization, man. I did a couple shows on it before too, man. Do y'all's research on the ICC, the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. It is a think tank organization of the planet's top 100 corporations, all who have vested stake and stock in this organization, meaning these are there's about 100 companies that do business interdimensionally and intergalactically. Yes, you heard me correctly. This is why they're talking about colonizing outer space. This is why Elon Musk is talking about going to Mars. They've been doing business with entities from other dimensions and extraterrestrial entities from other places in our galaxies as well as others. I know that sounds crazy, man, but Star Trek is real. And this is what they're not telling us. They're not letting us know, giving us full disclosure, because they are doing business with these demons. And that's what they are. They're demons. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. OG, tell us aliens exist without telling us aliens exist. Y'all remember when I did this show not too long ago, right? Remember when I did the show not too long ago about Chicago aliens? Remember that? What was them aliens? Where was that at, man? Alien when the aliens was at the mall. No, in Miami, my fault. When they was reported that they seen them aliens in Miami. Y'all remember that when I did the show? When they seen non-biological beings, whatever that is right there, walking. Y'all remember that? They said 10-foot aliens walking outside of a Miami mall. Remember when I did the show on that? Remember that right there? Whenever they show us footage of these entities, man, they don't never give us clear, concise, fully pixelated, high resolution images of these entities. Right? Do y'all remember this? This was roughly about 6 months ago, I'll say. Maybe a little bit longer. I did a show on this, and it was reported that at a mall in Miami, a group of 10-foot tall entities was causing havoc in the mall, man. And they were surrounded and accosted by the police right here, allegedly. Right? Let's get back to the Senate committee hearing, man. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page. We are not alone in the universe. The entities and the rulers of darkness from other worlds, we are becoming aware of them, or they're making themselves known to us. Let's go. Our governments have been doing business with them. believe it or not. Let's go. Smash that like button, click the bell, subscribe to the page, and of course, share on your social engineering.
Mr. Elizondo, you stated in your testimony that, quote, advanced technologies not by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe, end quote. If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by non-human intelligence?
Well, ma'am, that's precisely why we're here. The problem is that temporally speaking, over decades, not just the last 10 years, to put this in perspective,
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
it may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force Technologies, I would not be able to discuss.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP
He can't discuss it. This is disrespectful.
crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am.
And that's why can't you tell us what's going on, dude? This is disrespectful, man.
I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals. I submitted for my book through the DOPSR process, which took a year for it to be reviewed. And what is in the book is what I was told. And
my whole thing is this, y'all. Okay, so say they don't exist. Say these entities don't exist. Clearly they do. But let's just say they don't. Why all this fuss about keeping this such a big secret or not just telling us? Why not prove beyond the shadow of a reasonable doubt that these entities, these beings, are not what we assume they are? They're not even real. It just makes you question them. Okay, so say they're not aliens, say they're not interdimensional. What are they? And for y'all to feign ignorance like y'all don't know is a disrespect to our intelligence. It's an assault to our intelligence. Let's go.
allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does the U.S. government have any reverse? Okay, we already answered that question about retrieval programs. Do any U.S. contractors have the same?
I would prefer to address that in a closed session, ma'am.
Okay. In your book, you mentioned government employees who've been injured by UAPs, placed on leave, and receiving government compensation for their injuries. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How can the government deny we have recovered craft if they're paying people because they've been injured by recovered craft?
That's a great question. And it's questions like that that we must ask and demand that they tell us, because this is insulting our intelligence, right? Y'all telling us that you can't talk about this stuff, but people are actually being affected by this stuff. But y'all can't tell us about it though. That's what's up. Basically, they saying, man, we know about this stuff, but we can't tell y'all for reasons of national security. Nah, man, screw that. If you live by, specifically if you live by a military installation, a military base, where these entities are known to have high frequency of activity and sightings, which lets us know that our government is doing business or engaging and interacting with these entities to some extent, wittingly, willingly. So don't tell us that, dude.
Ma'am, that's a great question. That's why I think we're here again, because I've seen the documentation by the U.S. government for several of these individuals who have sustained injuries as a result of a UAP incident.
It's a crazy idea, right?
Remember when they told us about the so-called robots that killed them Asian scientists in the lab underground a couple years ago? Was it really robots? Talk about it, man. Let's go.
Hypocrisy and the logic. Okay, Mr. Schellenberger, I'm going to say it again to be very clear. Immaculate Constellation. What's its mission and how are they funded?
Its mission is to, as I stated, its mission is to, it's an unacknowledged special access program. Its mission is to document UAPs.
Okay, and do you, for your story and your report, do you have more than one credible source?
I do.
Sourcing, okay.
I do.
And then why do you believe your sources to be credible? How do you judge the veracity of the documentation you've been provided about this program?
I checked the sources, and they are who they say they are. They are current or former government officials. I wanted to also add that I did not specify that they were Defense Department employees. I didn't specify the agency nor the gender.
Would they have included non-government employees, people that aren't employed by the government?
These are, I'm comfortable saying that these are government or previously government employees.
Any of them currently employed by a private contractor or private contractors?
I'd rather not say.
Okay.
You'd rather not say. This is what I'm saying, man. This is disrespectful, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but this is very disrespectful. Basically lying in our face. If you're not telling us the truth, you're lying. Disrespectful, man. Let's go.
What's the key takeaway, just a few seconds, about the Immaculate Constellation document you provided us today?
I think that what the American people need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
high res,
high resolution.
How many visuals, graphics, videos, photos?
I mean, I've been told hundreds, maybe thousands. I mean, I also wanted to say, because there was some conversation around concern around the revealing of these materials, revealing the source collections, but some of these are shot from helicopters using normal videos of oceans. I just think that's absurd that somehow you're going to be revealing some secret U.S. technology by revealing that you've photographed orbs off the coast of Kuwait.
Okay, thank you. I have 8 seconds. Mr. Gold, did the NASA independent study team get briefed on what you call OSAP? Very quickly.
I flagged the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Application Program to our chair and our DFO. We did not get briefed, but I believe it is definitely worth looking into. That was probably the largest UAP review effort ever, and I think produced a lot of interest data, including revealing Nimitz. I don't know if my fellow witness Lou might want to, he did yeoman's work on it, might want to comment.
Okay.
See what I'm saying, man? Disrespecting us to our faces, man. Not even keeping it 100, man. Talking about some, we can't discuss this right now. And we're not at liberty to talk about this. Right?
This is Amazon's new moneymaker. Let me show you how it works. That app is called Audible. It's created.
It's a question a lot of folks have been asking for decades. Is there intelligent alien life? And if so, has the government been covering it up? Well, that was actually the hearing, focus of a hearing yesterday by a House Oversight Committee. NBC's Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles joins us from Washington with the latest on this ongoing debate. And there were some surprises in that hearing yesterday, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right, Craig. At yesterday's hearing, ex-government and military officials suggested that may be the case, that there are intelligent beings that live off of the planet. Witness testimony included a range of stories related to UFOs and UAPs, which stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon. One former Navy admiral said that he had confirmation of them in 2015 when he remembers getting an email from U.S. Fleet Force Command. The video showed a flying object by a Navy aircraft doing exercises, noting that there were several near mid-air collisions. The next day, he said the email mysteriously disappeared from his and others' accounts. No explanation was ever provided from another Defense Department official, and they claimed that the U.S. and its adversaries were hiding away UAP technologies. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies.
Now, this witness urged the new Trump administration to have more transparency, saying that he believes that Americans can handle the truth. We've reached out to the Pentagon for comment, but we've not heard back. Craig?
Of course you haven't. And of course we're ready for the truth when it comes to this, man. What's the big secret? If they exist, just tell us, right?
Are you worried that using your home address for business puts your privacy at risk? At iPostal One, we can help. So you've started your own company, but feel
for holding this committee. Thank you to the witnesses. Admiral, the video that is called the Go Fast video, the email that you've talked about being deleted, I just want to briefly cover this. You said that the email, the author was asking whether any of the recipients were aware of the classified technology demonstrations that it could explain the objects that were observed. And then you said the email disappears. Then you guys have a series of meetings. The commander of fleet forces and his operations officer never discussed the incident again. Is that right? Is that accurate?
That's accurate, sir.
And even during weekly meetings, it was never discussed again. My question for you is, you were in those meetings. Did you personally hear that nothing was going on about that?
Yes, sir. I was in those meetings, and
did you make inquiries about that?
No, I did not, sir, because I inferred, since I had been read into other special access programs, that this UAP video was part of one that I was not read into, or any of the recipients, or the author of the email, and that an intelligence agency basically pulled it back and instructed the author of the email, hey, this is, you just conducted what they call spillage into a lower classification level. And when that's done, the procedures are basically to remove any of the communication.
You're going to silo it. So, and you, Mr. Elizondo, in your report and your testimony today, a government work on the UAP subject still remains classified. Excessive secrecies led to grave misdeeds against loyal civil servants, military personnel, and the public, all to hide the fact that we are not alone in the cosmos. Fair?
Yes, sir.
All right. And all of you, and Mr. Schellenberger, by the way, I've read several of your books, Mr. Schellenberger, excellent stuff.
Thank you.
What I would say too is, you were asked about the veracity of the author of this report. You comfortable with the veracity?
Yes.
Okay. And then, and I'll get to you in a second, Mr. Gold. We'll talk about Kuhnian and Lakatoshian scientific advancement and how we're obviating that through these processes. But we'll get to that in a sec, because what I want to really get to is the ultimate question it really becomes this: for what purpose is the federal government overclassifying, because that's what they're doing, they're overclassifying and forbidding the public for getting access to this? And if you know, if you have an explanation, I'm curious, because I know what I've been told. I just want to know from your perspective, why do they overclassify? Mr. Elizondo, you look like your finger on the button, ready to go.
Yes, sir. Forgive me. I think there's several reasons. I think at the time when this reality became evident to the U.S. government, we were in the middle of the Cold War with then Soviet Union, and we did not want to tip our hands to what our knowledge base was on this topic. We did not want to broadcast that to
the Cold War's long over.
It is, sir. It is, sir. There's also then the philosophical argument that the Department of Defense and the intelligence community is solution oriented. And when you don't have answers, it's a really tough spot to be in.
It's easier to be quiet and suppressed than if you don't have the answer.
Indeed, sir. In fact, there's a very real example when we built the U-2 spy plane and flew it over then Russia, and we're taking reconnaissance. And when we first started flying the aircraft, it flew so high and so fast we thought they weren't tracking us. In reality, they were tracking every flight. It wasn't until the Russians could develop the SA-2 surface-to-air missile and successfully shoot them down.
I would suggest to you also, along with Lakatos and Kuhn, you also have a problem with Kenneth Arrow's path dependence or increasing returns. That's one reason why they won't disclose it. It's too painful to admit. But I just want to read a couple things from Mr. Schellenberger.
Quantum entanglement.
Right.
That's why channeling works.
Your brain is making connections it doesn't normally make.
We're more than our physical brain.
And mass collection at night in the specific area of the Pacific Ocean. This footage, which was in close proximity to the vessels, a large equilateral triangle UAP suddenly appears directly over the ships. These three bright point ships These three bright points are seen at each bottom corner of the UAP, which is observed to slowly rotate on its horizontal axis.
Right. Now, what he is describing is what I saw about 24 years ago. About 24 years ago. I was on my way to a club in my city that was popping at the time called Fat Jacks. I was in the car with one of my guys, and we stopped at the light on 17th and Joyce, because I was going straight down 17th to get on the freeway to head out west. And as we approached this, now mind you, this is about midnight. This is about 11:30 midnight at night. As we approached the stoplight, I'm driving and I noticed this huge object in the air. It was huge. It was huge, y'all. It was about, if I had to guess, it was about a good 100 to 200 feet off the ground. It was not high off the ground at all. And it was a huge black triangle. And it had a light at each vertex of the angle of the triangle. Each of the three angles, it had a light, and in the center it had a bright one, and it had lights all around the side of it. It was huge. If I had to guesstimate, y'all, how big this thing was, it was the size of a football field at minimum in length. This whatever this object was, it was huge. And it made no noise, no sound, no humming of engines, thrusters, anything like that. Complete silence. And as I'm sitting here watching it hover over the intersection of 17th and Joyce, I tap my man, who I ain't gonna say his name, but he was rolling up, and I tap him. I say, "Cuz, look, do you see this shit?" This nigga looked out the window and down there dropped a blunt. And we looked as it was passing 17th, and then as we stared at it, it just took off. Like, I don't know if it took off or it disappeared. And I'm never ever gonna forget that. Right? Later in life, right? Throughout my research, right? Of course, and a lot of these pictures have been scrubbed from the internet. But this is exactly what I saw on 17th and Joyce back in the year 2000. Right? This is exactly what I saw, except the one I saw had lights all around the edges. And this point was lit up, that point was lit up, and that point was lit up. And in the center, it didn't have this in the center. But it had lights all around it and main three up there. And it was huge, y'all. If I had to guess, I had to say it was the size of a football field. If I was going to be guessing. Later, throughout my research and studies, I found out that Lockheed Martin makes these craft. They're called Astra TB3s. And they've been reported being seen all over the world. Right? Right? So when we talk about these craft, they very much do exist. Who's piloting them? That could be argued. Right? Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page. Of course, share on your social engineering. Let's go.
be successful.
In the discussions, it's simply about material, or is there discussion about it was previously testified that there was biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that simply because I don't have the expertise.
Was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes. Yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures, or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time, in fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry, could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear.
Finding a therapist doesn't have to feel overwhelming.
This is why these things,
BetterHelp is designed to help you take that first step.
Their equities.
But I think these people are lying to us. They know good and damn hell well the capabilities of these entities. They know they've been reverse engineering their tech for the past going on 100 years. And they're just sitting here lying to our faces, man. Let's go.
I signed documentation with the U.S. government. What I can say was, after a very thorough review process by the Pentagon, what I wrote about. And that was my limit, unfortunately, that I was given.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I would now like to recognize Mr. Timmons for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Elizondo, you just said something interesting. You said they don't seem to be hiding. They don't seem to be hiding. The UAP sightings are becoming increasingly brash, if you will. And, you know, we've been hearing about these for years, but they've generally been isolated and not as consistent and over critical military installations. Would you say that's fair? Is this becoming increasingly often? Is it happening more and more?
Great question, sir. Let me see if I can answer this for you. Certainly, there seems to be some indication that they're being provocative, meaning that they're, in some cases, literally splitting aircraft formations right down the middle. So that's an air safety issue. The question is it the frequency increasing? And the response is it depends. Yes, it's possible that there is an increase in frequency, but it's also possible that there's heightened awareness now, and there's also more pervasiveness of technology out there that's collecting this information and that can record this information. So we're not quite sure yet if it's actually an increase in numbers of these events, or is it that we have better equipment now that to record these things, and we have a better ability, if you will, to analyze these things.
And that's my next question. It seems that a lot of these sightings occur near military installations. Do you think that these UAPs are intentionally targeting military installations, or do you think that we have increased abilities to monitor surrounding the military installations?
Sir, maybe both. Part of my concern is we have something in the Department of Defense and the intelligence community called IPB, Initial Preparations of the Battle Space. And we use equities like ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and other type of equities and technologies to prep the battle space. And certainly, you know, if I was wearing my national security hat, even if there was a 2% chance that there was some sort of hostile intent here, that's 2% higher than we really can accept. And so we must figure out, there's a calculus, capabilities versus intent, in order to identify if something is a national security threat. We've seen some of the capabilities, yet we have no idea in the intent. And so this is why this discussion is.
I don't believe them. I don't believe them. hell? Hold on. I don't believe them. Hold on real quick, y'all. I do not believe these people when they be talking about this. They get to talking about we're not at liberty to disclose and all this crazy stuff, man. You know, they can miss me with all that. Just disrespectful, man. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page.
Two different hats. I'm still in the Air Force. So, I mean, it seems that they're becoming increasingly brash. And the question that we really have to figure out is is it China or is it non-human? And I think that's the biggest question the American people want to know. If it's China, it's scary because they have a lot of technology that we cannot explain. And if it's non-human, that's scary because we don't know the intent. Would you say that's fair?
Yes, Congressman. And in fact, I really believe that we should use this hearing as a catalyst to improve and bolster our air defense capabilities and our maritime domain awareness capabilities, because obviously there are holes in it, whether it be UAP of non-HI direction or NHI direction, or like as you say, sir, China or any other adversary.
Are you aware of any task force at the Pentagon or in the national security apparatus that's trying to assess the answer to that question?
At the current moment, sir, no, but this is a great point. From 2020 to 2022, there was a UAP task force in the DoD succeeding where Mr. Elizondo worked, led by Jay Stratton, who had the first comprehensive whole of government approach to UAP, which involved pathways to declassification and to increase transparency, as well as assessing the national security risks of UAP. This was a really well-established approach, and we have all advocated that something like it return.
I'm running out of time. The last thing is that we need authorities. The law enforcement, military do not have authorities to actually engage, and Congress needs to act to give those authorities to local law enforcement and the military so they have clear guidelines on how to assess these issues going forward. I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Ms. Boebert for 5 minutes of question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Now that we have all been cautioned in this committee hearing that the mention of Pentagon's Immaculate Constellation program could put us on a list, well, I already find myself on many lists, I'm sure. So I speak my mind often, so why not just keep going with it? May as well just go all out and say it. The earth is flat, birds are government drones, and we've never set foot on the moon, and Joe Biden received 81 million votes in the 2020 election. So let's just see how many lists we could get on here today. But Mr. Schellenberger, I wanted to ask you, I think I understand from this hearing that you would agree that classifying information like this is not in the best interest of the people. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, with the caveat that, of course, I would support classification necessary to protect secrets essential to national security, but I think it's pretty obvious that there's overclassification.
Overclassification, yes. And so in most instances, if they can't tell us what, do you think at some point they'll at least tell us why?
At least tell us why, right? If you're not going to tell us what these things are, tell us why they're doing what they're doing, because at least you know that. Why are y'all keeping this a secret from us? Why are y'all not giving us full disclosure outside of national security? Come on, man, with these insulting to our intelligence responses.
Technologies that are not of human origin and may be connected to any advanced bioscience defense programs within the USG?
I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to answer that, ma'am.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so there are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. Are any of you familiar with that? Yes or no?
Super soldier program. Think about all the Alien Predator movies of them splicing alien and xenomorph and Yautja DNA, human and xenomorph DNA. I think the last one Sigourney Weaver played in is where they was showing xenomorphs that had combined hybrid human DNA. What about the movie District 9? This is another way. And think about this too, y'all. When we're thinking about extraterrestrial intervention, we gotta always consider artificial intelligence that is not from our dimension or reality. Who's to say that these non-biological entities are even biological? They could be energetic, which most of them are, and they don't communicate by ways that we are used to, via speech, verbally. Let's go.
A different source entirely described this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
Some would say that there's multiple hotspots where we see frequent activity. So in your investigations, have you come across any data or visual evidence like sonar readings or underwater footage of these UAPs?
I have not beyond what's in the report.
You've written about UAPs not only in the air, but in underwater. Are there any specifics on what you've learned about the UAP activity in our oceans? Particularly, have you spoken with sources who have provided any evidence or eyewitness accounts of these UAPs interacting with our naval forces or being detected by our underwater surveillance systems?
Nothing beyond what's in the report and then the specific case that I mentioned with the orbs.
So this report says it all. There's no other information that we are aware of regarding the activity within our waters.
I have other sources that have told me that have shared a significant amount of information, but they're not comfortable with me sharing it at this point.
Okay. Are there any technological capabilities observed in these oceanic UAPs that seem to defy our current understanding of physics or our engineering capabilities?
It seems like they all do.
Yes, I would agree with that. My time is up, but I do appreciate your bravery, your courage for coming here and speaking today. And seems like there's still some.
You wear a lot of hats for your small business, but are you a cybersecurity?
So ordered. Mr. Elizondo, were you read into the Immaculate Constellation program?
I would not be authorized to confirm nor deny the existence of any ongoing or past program, especially as it relates to a special access program, either by name or trigraph.
Okay. And then does the U.S. government or private contractors, do they work with other foreign countries, China, for example, to exchange data, quote from a source, that intelligence data about UAP?
Let me see if I can answer that a little bit more generally, ma'am, if I may. We do have foreign material exploitation programs. That is something that is widely known, and that term itself is unclassified. How exactly that works becomes a bit sensitive. A discussion we could certainly have in a closed session if you like. We do work with international partners and allies quite often, not just in military exercises and workups, but in other intelligence efforts as well.
In terms of material that's given to private contractors, is certain material given to certain contractors because of their experience? So for example, if it's related to submerged and undersea propulsion, would it go to a general contractor like General Dynamics?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely correct. Different contractors have different levels of expertise.
What's Lockheed's expertise?
Aerospace, ma'am.
In the UAP space, that's all that they would do submerged.
No, I didn't say that, ma'am.
Okay.
Lockheed Martin and others do quite a bit of work both in our atmosphere, in space, and even underwater. There are certain efforts to. It's a tough question you're asking. You put me on the spot.
It's not a tough question, and we're gonna put you on the spot, dude. What you just do talking about, man?
They are involved in a lot. I would rather let Lockheed Martin explain the different domains.
Lockheed Martin made that Astra TB3, man. That's I know some of y'all that sat up there and saw too.
Which you've experienced and seen in your career?
They're extensive, and the one exercise I referred to where I received the email that was then deleted was the pilots, and this is worth bringing out. There are debunkers out there who have said the Go Fast video was just a balloon. That was only one video that was released. There were dozens of these encounters that pilots and friends of Ryan Graves, who's in this room right here, witnessed and caused significant safety concerns. And to almost call out and exercise it and shut it down, which is very compressed, and the carrier's getting ready for deployment, and the pilots have to get certified to land on a carrier. It's extreme, to say the least.
All right, I have two last questions. Real quickly, Mr. Schellenberger, how do we get more whistleblowers to come forward?
Well, this hearing is very important, and obviously, I can't encourage whistleblowers to obtain information, but I can guarantee that I will protect them and go to prison to protect their identities if they come to me.
Yes, sir. Okay, my last question. The first hearing we had on this, I'd never been briefed on UAPs or what they were, biologics, non-human, et cetera. How would you define, each of you, my last question, how would you define non-human biologics, non-human intelligence? What?
Now, this is a good question right here. How do y'all define non-biologicals? Interdimensionals, ethereal, energetic beings. Let's go. Let's see what they got to say, y'all. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page.
Definition would be the ability to react to a stimulus in a manner that requires an intellectual thought process.
I just don't know.
I think we must be modest in our assumptions that we're looking for intelligence. That could be biological, it might not.
Non-biological, but what non-biological intelligence, what does that mean though?
Artificial intelligence, ML, machines.
See? Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence from other dimensions, other galaxies, other universes, other realities. We just now becoming aware of artificial intelligence in our reality. We ain't aware of the unintelligent artificial intelligence from other worlds. Let's go, man. Let's go.
The advocates and the pilots is that we need to continue investigating UAPs. I think the country is owed explanations and ensure that the safety of national security is always protected. This is a conversation and questioning that must continue. So I'm very grateful to all of you. And I also just want to add, just personally, I think it's really important for me. Two things guide my questioning and my observations on UAPs. Is one is we should always be guided by facts, science, and data, and stay serious on those issues. And the second thing is I think that we should not limit our imagination and our thoughts and our curiosity on what UAPs could actually be. And I think those two things for me are really important, and I'm grateful for all of you to be here. So with that, I yield back.
Okay, and we have Mr. Ogles who is on the way. He's going to be here any second. Is that correct? We'll check, and he'll be the last member with questions that we have today, and then we have votes. So we want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank Mr. Garcia and folks on both sides of the aisle for being here today and being patient. We have a lot more questions, and I hope that this will open the door to more hearings in the future. I obviously would like to know how much taxpayers are spending on this. You have the right to know, but also if we're spending money on something that doesn't exist, why are we spending the money? And if it does exist, why are we hiding it from the public?
Exactly.
And of course, our national security is a huge issue, because if there's technology that could harm us or our allies that are in the hands of our adversaries, we obviously want to stay ahead of that to the best of our ability to ensure that that technology is not in the hands of someone who could use it against us or our allies anywhere in the world. So, Mr. Ogles, you're just in time, babe. I will recognize you for 5 minutes of questioning before we head on out today.
Well, thank you all for being here. And Madam Chairwoman, I
out of breath because I sprinted to get here, but this is an important hearing. I think we all know that there's something going on. Mr. Elizondo.
This is my hack for working smart, Monday.com. Let me show you how I use Monday.com to create a tailor-made workflow. First, the most comfortable.
Based on your knowledge of UAP sightings, do you believe it's fair to say that they are especially common near nuclear sites?
Yes, sir. Mr. Congressman, I absolutely am convinced of that, as are my colleagues inside the government.
And the reason why I pose that question, and this has been one of my talking points from the beginning, is, Oak Ridge is in Tennessee. The so-called weather balloon that drifted, that we now know was controlled, it passed near Oak Ridge. It obviously is a sensitive site, both of interest to our adversaries and to whatever else this is. Because we know that at military installations, at sensitive locations, such as nuclear facilities, that we're seeing this take place. So the question is what is it? Do you believe they've caused an irregular activity, and why might they be interested in those sites?
Sir, in some cases, it's actually regular activity. You'd be surprised. There's actually documentation right now that's been submitted. It's not just Oak Ridge. It's Savannah River site, SRS. It's also Los Alamos. A lot of our sensitive R&D locations appear to be under some sort of surveillance and monitoring. Why? Well, because
come on, y'all, man. Under some sort of surveillance. Y'all don't know, man. Come on. This is what I'm saying. This is an insult to our intelligence, man. This is what let's go. I'm gonna get to this in a second, man. We about to wrap it up here in a second. Let's go. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe.
Might the Department of Energy or its subsidiaries or affiliates have in this type of technology, or possessing this type of technology, whether it's ours or others? Mr. Gallaudet, I think your testimony has been pretty clear, but would you please reiterate that do you believe UAPs pose a threat to pilots? Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. They were threatening Navy pilots during the exercise that I was, my people were involved with in 2015. And it's my understanding they're risking pilot safety, commercial and military today.
Well, considering, and I understand that there's a need in some cases to keep certain technologies secret, but you believe that it is posing a threat to our personnel, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I think it's reasonable to conclude that if there's a threat to our personnel who are serving our country faithfully, that there be oversight.
100%, Congressman. And in fact, that's the one thing that we've not talked about enough during this hearing is the fact that the government executive branch not sharing with Congress what it knows about UAP infringes on your legislative and oversight responsibilities to such an extent that's very concerning. I mean, what else are we, if you look at national security or intelligence or foreign affairs or appropriations, you all have oversight and legislative responsibility regarding those. This UAP issue may be the greatest issue of our time, and it's being hid from you.
Well, I mean, and to your point, I think we've seen over the decades that we have certain adversaries like China, like Russia, that technologically speaking are not as advanced as us, that they lack some of the lethality that we have, and that we've seen that they've gone after our technologies and in some cases succeeded, in particular with missile technology. And so again, my concern, whether this technology emanates from us or otherworldly.
Or otherworldly. Otherworldly. Why can't they just tell us? Why won't they just tell? They can't tell us. They're just not. Plausible deniability, my ass. Let's go.
We must know. And anyone who prevents us from gaining access to that information, I would consider that criminality. Because we have U.S. personnel who may very well be in harm's way. We have technology that ultimately may threaten our very existence. With that, Madam Chairman, I thank you for your indulgence, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr.
And I'm going to end it right there, man. This is a threat to our security and our safety as regular citizens of any nation of this planet, specifically America. You want to know why they're not going to be full disclosure? Because they're doing business with these demons. They selling us out. They selling us out, man. They are selling us out. Right? Literally. And this is why we being synthetically copied. This is why they're talking about human, or should I say, this is why they're talking about artificial womb facilities. These entities want to absorb our reality. And in order to do so, they have to, man, listen, another topic for another day, man. That's a spiritual roots conversation. Right? Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page. I ain't going to draw this one out. I just wanted to bring this to y'all awareness, man. While we sit here arguing over gender war, back and forth, rigmarole, worried about this lame-ass, no fugazi ass dude, and all the other BS that we consume our attention with. This is what's going on. While Jake Paul and Mike Tyson siphon money from us from a scripted fight, clearly, this is what's going on. This is what's going on, y'all, behind the scenes. And like my man OG said, this could all be just flim-flam, claptrap, right? Just to keep the conspiracy alive. When it's really not a conspiracy, it's actual facts that our government, along with others, have been dealing with these entities business-wise. I'm talking about business. I'm talking about doing business with each other. What you think human trafficking is hold on, y'all think human trafficking is designated to on planet? What about off planet? They're using words like off planet, non-human biological entities, otherworldly. Right? These are the terms that our governments are using, man. Right? Ephesians 6:12, man. Right? Let me put this up on screen, y'all. All praises be to the Most High God, Yeshua Mashiach. Right? Ephesians 6:12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Hold on, let me get the King James version, man. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Right? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And if there's if there's rulers of the darkness of this world, then of course there's rulers of darkness of other worlds. Hence the term otherworldly entities, biologics. I keep telling y'all, in my city, Columbus, Ohio, we have a weird, creepy, what I'm gonna call portal right? I'm gonna call it a hub station. I'm gonna call it Grand Central Station of demonic portals, right? And it is literally called Otherworld. This place is so demonic. I done did a whole show on this place. I done told y'all about this place. This place is very, very demonic. It is literally the intersecting of multiple, if you ask me, multiple demonic portals. They have a mouth of Orcus in there. They have depictions of Malak or Moloch in there. Let me find it real quick because I know they got a picture of it. They got a monument to the Latin demon bat god. Let me find this down. They got a whole shrine paying like a 30-foot, a 20-foot, 30-foot image of Malek. Where down right here. They have a monument to Malek. This is right here in my city, man. Right, not even 10 minutes away from my house, man. So these people know what's going on. They know good and damn hell well what's going on. I don't want to hear none of that. We're not at liberty to talk about this stuff, man. Anyway, y'all, man, we about to get up out of here, man. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, listen, man. Do not allow these people to continue to insult our intelligence when it comes to the existence of UFOs, UAPs, USOs, biologics, whatever they want to call them, interdimensionals, extraterrestrials, ethereal, whatever they want to call them. Clearly, we're not alone in this so-called world. And according to scriptures, if there's rulers of darkness of this world, then there's rulers of darkness of other worlds. You already know, OG. Now, like I always say to y'all, we are just now becoming aware, familiar with the rulers of darkness of this world. We have no clue about the rulers of darkness of other worlds. This is why they desensitizing us, preemptively programming us with imagery like Avengers, Endgame, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Ant-Man and the subatomic realm. And we ain't even talked about that. We talking about interdimensional, extraterrestrial. What about interplanet, inner planet? What about molecular? Huh? So y'all already know, man. We're going to get into it tomorrow. Me and the leader going to be in the building. We will be discussing the 4B movement and the fallacy thereof. Y'all chicks can't be serious. One thing for sure, two things for certain. None of y'all broads is about to stop giving up that box. Y'all like sex way more than we do. Yeah, man. They think we don't know this stuff, Sage Mo. They think we too stupid to decipher this stuff, man. Secret space program, super soldier program, interplanetary corporate conglomerate, SETI. We're hip to all of these, or the Project Blue Beam, right? Project Blue Book, the Jason Society. We are familiar with all of this stuff. Not to mention we have scriptures. So, you know, man, stay vigilant, y'all. Stay awake. Do your due diligence. Stay tapped in. Tune in with your brother, Virgil Berry, a.k.a. Stats with the Facts. We're going to break this damn thing down. Right? Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I'm going to leave y'all. with this track right here to bang out to, man. You dig? Because they always trying to keep us asleep, man. And they want us to be fake woke niggas, man. We got to wake up, y'all. You hear me?
Stacks with the facts. What up, Stacks? I got my man Distant Guarantee on the track with me. The Guarantee. Yeah. And we bringing this message to you fake woke niggas. Gotta wake these niggas up. I call y'all out there spreading them lies and falling victim to this propaganda. Niggas believe me. Hey, Glitch. Talk to these niggas. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. So I dance around them like my name was Alvin Hayes. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. Alarm clock, take 'em up, time to wake 'em up. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. So I dance around them like my name was Alvin Hayes. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. Alarm clock, take 'em up, time to wake 'em up. I gotta set the alarm, wake you up from your slumber. Avoid and hairy fake woke niggas, y'all just dumbass niggas. Drop jewels, but people don't pay any attention. Unless me immediately be the wake 'em up henchman. A lot of times these woke niggas be really sleep. Shit, the price on a nigga's life is extra real cheap. Only the real for my niggas, we all only. We made a living eating these rappers, nigga, bon appetit. Yeah, pause. Me and my brethren be down for the cause. We gotta come together and tear down all these walls. In illusory fault lines like racism and bring light to the boat, just like a Baptist. The congregation spoke. These niggas ain't who they claim they be. A bunch of beat a pop off. Niggas really be lames to me. Anytime you at war, it's gonna be casualties. The more we come together, it's easy to beat the enemies. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. So I dance around them like my name was Alvin Ailey. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. Alarm clock, wake 'em up, time to wake 'em up. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. So I dance around them like my name was Alvin Ailey. Fake woke niggas be surrounding me daily. Alarm clock, wake 'em up, time to wake 'em up. Alarm clock to the woke, time to wake 'em up. The main initiative should be to get your cake up. You ain't right, niggas need life jackets to stay afloat. Meanwhile, I'm blowing on gas straight from the Ivory Coast. And every post I be hitting y'all with them straight facts. The smart grid is now here, we gotta face that. While they coming with microchips and vaccinations, fake woke niggas perpetuating indoctrination. This pandemic, this was the damn gimmick. Niggas will believe that they mom died if she still living. Open your eyes, nigga, you can see the lies, nigga. We gotta stop letting the blind lead the blind, nigga. And that's the biggest fact, bitch. You better tell them niggas, listen, in the 2030, it's gonna be hell, niggas. So fuck AOC and her new Green Deal. I'm Neo in this bitch. You want they red pill.